We are back for Moon Knight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
More Moon Knight.
Or Moon Knight.
Episode 2. What was the title for episode 2?
Man, you would ask me that, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah. You guess what I'm doing right now? Currently.
You're currently.
I'm watching the episode. It's called Summon the Suit.
Oh, you know what? I used to do that. I should have done that this time. Yeah, Summon the Suit.
Well, it's funny because like I downloaded it to my phone, watched it on the train home, then finished watching it here, and then I'm rewatching it right now.
Oh, that's really nice. Yeah, watching it on the train. Yeah. That's great.
Modern technology, man. Modern technology.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, let's get into it, man. This episode had a couple of different interesting things going on. Mostly, it was following up with some of the things that we kind of talked about last week. It's like, is this all in Steven's head? Did it really happen? Blah 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 blah. And like, I like that I don't like that the show kind of answered all these questions about whether it's real or fake or not.
Mm-hmm.
I think we'll get into it. But go ahead, get started, Mike.
Well, at the very beginning, it kind of makes it seem like maybe it is all in Steven's head, right? Mm-hmm. Because he's talking with the security guard of the museum. He's like, "Hey, man," and I love all of the like British slang that happens in this conversation.
Bruv,
yeah, bruv.
Yeah.
Great conversation, but he's like, "This is gonna melt your brain, bruv." Mm-hmm. And then
nothing happened. We didn't see anything.
Yeah, we didn't see anything. All we saw was Steven running through the museum and apparently running into the toilets and breaking stuff.
Yep. Mm-hmm. There's another QR code.
There is.
Is that the same QR code?
It is a QR code at 8 minutes and 25 seconds.
Yeah, I just saw
that gives you the Werewolf by Night comic.
Huh? Like, is it the same one from last time, or was it different?
I don't know. I never ended up pulling up the last one.
Yeah. Very cool. Keep it coming. But yeah, so like, yeah, it's so a lot of times especially with Moon Knight, they're trying to play with us a little bit. Like, it could be that Steven is like just kind of nutso, or it could be that he really is, a superhero avatar of an Egyptian god. So we just don't know. But the more the show kind of progresses, the more we realize that this is real. This is actually happening. I kind of wish that the mystery of it kind of stayed up for a while. But man, the directing of this is really good. Like the screen, like the camera angles, the direction, the production values, all are good except for one thing, which I'll get to later. I don't want to.
Yeah, the Moon Knight's cinematography is fantastic. The cinematography, the direction, it's great. I think it's probably some of the best camera work we've seen in anything Marvel.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I mean, we talked about how good WandaVision was, and I feel like this is pushing the boundaries of it. I feel like this is doing some good stuff.
Yeah, like the bathroom scene in the first episode where the camera's kind of looking into the mirror, and you get all of these, reflections of the mirror within itself stacked, and then Marc Spector is talking to Steven, and Steven's talking to Marc through the mirrors. It's just an amazing shot. A lot of effort went into that.
Yeah, it's just really solid work. So I'm looking at our show notes. So you said that IMDb got wrong about Crawley. Is Crawley the guy who we talked about last?
Yeah, Crawley is the human statue, the golden guy. Last time I was concerned because IMDb said he was only going to be in one episode. And you had told us about Crawley, how he is from the comics and he's kind of a tipster for Marc Spector or Moon Knight in the comics.
Yeah, so he's sort of like, if you want to talk about archetypes or it's archetypes, then he's sort of like the old guardian character or the old wise man, where like someone goes to these people and asks them for advice or they give you tips. It's a typical archetype that's used in countless comics and books forever. I kind of like how they're using him as this, but in a different perspective. Like, the guy's not saying anything. It's just like a place where Marc can just talk to himself and get some ideas. It's really smart,
right?
Because it's easy to get caught up in archetypes because you've seen so many stories do it, and you've seen so many other people use them successfully that you want to use them because you think that's going to work for you. But if you want to push their art forward, if you want to push storytelling forward, then you should try not to use them or try to use them in a different way. And that's what we get here, which is good. I don't know if we're going to see him again.
Right now, IMDb has been updated and it shows him in 2 episodes. I really hope that he's in every episode this season. I just think that's a pretty cool thing. Maybe he's not going to be in London in every episode. So maybe there will be a couple where we don't see Crowley, but I hope anytime that we see Steven or Marc even in London that Crowley's in that episode. That'd be pretty neat.
I'm watching it currently. If I'm looking at the show notes correctly, I am seeing the scene that you particularly like, which is the scene where Marc gets the bag. He's freaking out. He runs out of his little safe room and he meets Khonshu again.
Right.
With that super deep voice, super scary looking, just great.
Yeah, that's another like really great direction and cinematography in this series. It's kind of incredible. Like they're ramping up the speed, they're slowing down the speed, they do freeze frames during that scene.
Yeah, Oscar Isaac's facial expressions are just perfect.
Right.
They couldn't get a guy better they couldn't get someone better for this role. He put his heart and soul into this movie. Like he's just like in the series. Like Oscar Isaac is a brilliant, really good actor, and he just took it to the next level here. He did a really good job.
Yeah, that scene's just a very disorienting scene.
You know that he's producing this, correct? You know he's producing this, right?
Yeah. Oscar Isaac.
That's probably why. Yeah, that's probably why he wants to make sure it does really well. Because he's got what do producers do? Do they put in money? What do they do exactly?
I think it depends on who you are and whether you're a extremely well-known actor that's in the thing you're producing.
That makes absolutely no sense.
Because sometimes producers are money men. Sometimes they're probably like a more of an overseeing industry expert, I think, that like knows how to get all these things in place for the film crew. And then other times maybe it's a really well-known actor that negotiates a producer credit and doesn't really do anything much other than that. I don't know. I'm not saying that's the case with Oscar Isaac, but I think that probably happens.
Once again, it's proof that Hollywood is a glorified universal basic income scheme.
Right, exactly.
You know, if you make it in Hollywood, you're going to get payday somehow. You know?
Right. Yep.
That's funny. That's really funny. Also sad.
Yeah. So that scene you were talking about right before that that is in the basically like it's a mini storage facility that he's in.
It's actually a pretty nice storage facility.
Yeah, it's a really nice one for random people to go into, I guess.
I kind of need to get one.
Yeah.
I have a lot of stuff. Yeah, but anyway, continue.
Yeah, so as he's entering that facility, he's talking to the guy at the front desk. And the guy says, "Oh yeah, you're number 43, right? I never forget a face."
That's good.
Any number 43 stuff? Does that conjure up any nerd references on your end?
Wow, nerd references. Wow. The only nerd reference that I can think of is from the comic. It could be. Let me check, because it could be that.
Okay.
It's the first episode.
Because they had to pick that number. They probably picked a number that means something.
Yeah, hang on. The first appearance. Nope. The first appearance of Marc Spector was in Werewolf by Night number 32, not 43. So I don't know.
Okay.
This might be a place where our listeners have to kind of help us out. Listeners, if you know any kind of reference that 43 can make, please let us know.
Right. Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah, I don't know. It should be something obvious, but again, like I talked about last week, Moon Knight has been around for a long time, but the mythos behind him, the lore behind him, is still kind of being fleshed out. And what I like about this series is that Moon Knight's going to be a different character both in the comics and just from in the Marvel's whole scheme of things based off what they do here. Because there's a couple different things, a lot of new things that we haven't seen from Moon Knight that we're seeing now. So it's going to be interesting to see how they adapt it. But this show is going to do more work than the comics ever did.
Yeah.
Well, that's not true. It's going to be doing. I don't know. It's going to be streamlining it a little bit. I don't want to not give. I want to give people credit, the people who did write Moon Knight.
How many issues of like Moon Knight comics do you think there are? Like dozens or?
It was a series, so I'm saying maybe a couple hundred.
Okay. Wow. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. A lot.
Yep.
Okay. I mean, Warren Ellis, one of my favorite comic book writers. Sadly, he kind of got busted for sexual harassment a little bit.
Yeah.
So he's kind of like
never meet your heroes.
Never, absolutely, never have heroes. I think that should be the motto.
Yeah.
But he did some work on Moon Knight that we'll talk about later when it comes to the Mr. Knight suit. We'll talk about that.
Okay. So right after that scene in the storage place, we meet Layla, the voice from the cell phone on the first episode.
So is she from the comics, Mike?
I cheated and looked at your show notes, and Layla isn't in the comics.
No, she is not.
But you think maybe she's kind of based on somebody?
She could be based off a character that is from Moon Knight called I think I pronounced her name right. Layla, Leila, Layla. Layla Tool. She was a villain of Moon Knight's. Way back in the day, nobody cares about her. She doesn't mean anything. But I kind of got the feeling that they might have like looked at her and then said instead of Layla, it could be Layla, or it could just be a brand new character they made. If it is a brand new character they made for this show, I'm a little upset about that because there's plenty of characters they could have looked into and based this character out of, and it's not a waste. It's just kind of like. It's kind of lame that if they just create her a whole cloth just for this.
Let me ask you something. How many characters in the comics of Moon Knight are Egyptians?
I have no idea.
Many, not a whole lot. I'm guessing
not many.
I'm guessing there's probably not many to pull from, and I think that's one of the things that they wanted to do with this episode is
she Egyptian? In the show?
The name Layla El Faouli. I'm sure I'm mispronouncing that, but
I thought it was Layla Specter. I guess
so. She's married to Marc Spector, so her last name is Specter. But the character is credited as Layla El Faouli.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
So I guess so.
Which is a Arabic last name.
Maybe, I hope so. I mean, I hope the show really wants to dig deep into that. I'm fine with that.
Because the director is Egyptian.
Great.
She has an Egyptian last name.
Hey, isn't Oscar Isaac Egyptian?
I don't think so. I don't know.
Dude, I kind of feel like he is. Hang on. Who's faster, me or you?
You're faster.
You know what? I put in 2 letters, O and S, and then Isaac comes up. This computer is listening to what I'm saying.
Right.
I don't like that.
No, he's just the most popular OS right now.
No, I think it's Guatemalan.
Yeah, I was thinking South American or something like that.
Yeah, it's Guatemalan.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know why I found that interesting. But yeah, if they create Layla just so they could have her be an Egyptian character for this show, I'm all about it. That sounds good.
Right. She's but yeah, like you said, her last name does show as Specter, so she is Marc's wife.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Did you listen to the song at the end of the episode?
I loved it.
Wow, me too.
Yeah.
What
it reminds?
What was it?
I should find it. Yeah, I don't know.
I do need to find it.
It's really good.
I absolutely love it.
It reminds me of a song I've heard in another movie. So I'm not sure if it's the same artist, but very familiar sounding.
Yeah. International hip hop trips me out, dude. It's like they listen to hip hop from America and were like, we want to do that. and then they rhyme their own language,
Right.
and like it's my brain can't understand it. Like, can you rhyme in another language? Of course you can, but like my stupid Western brains is like my Western lizard brain doesn't understand.
Yeah, you can only rhyme English words with it, you know.
But no, 100%. Yeah. British rap, by the way, is really, really fantastic.
Oh, you should try some German rap.
It's like a bunch of consonants constantly, you know. Caw.
Right.
All right. So we got.
Did you find that
Marc's
song
wife.
at all, or no?
I'm not looking for it.
Oh, I thought you were looking for it. Okay.
No, I'm trying to do a show, man. I'm trying to stay focused.
Yeah, it's a great song though.
Yeah. But hey, moving forward, so we get the cops to come into the room. Yeah. He gets arrested or whatever. And the cops say that Marc Spector is a mercenary that killed these people at a dig site, like executed them.
Mm-hmm.
That feels like it's going to be true to the comics origin, like we talked about last week. It feels like they really are going to tie, like how Khonshu found Marc Spector is going to be kind of pretty accurate, which is going to be good night. And we'll probably get that next episode. I think we'll get the origin next episode, probably.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I saw some people talking on the Twitter about how apparently there's a few scenes in this latest episode that are taken directly from the comic.
This episode?
From this episode, yeah, like a chase scene.
Really?
Yeah.
You know what? I think it is the scene where Moon Knight's jumping over the building.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Right.
Okay, good. All right. Good. I got something to say more about that, but we'll get to that later.
Okay.
All right. So now we the Return of Harrow.
Yeah. So those cops are actually part of the cult, and they took, instead of taking Marc or Steven to the police department, they took him to Harrow.
Yeah, you know, just if you get arrested, I recommend that someone like gets a lawyer, or you just make sure that you are in the presence of people constantly. You never know when you're going to be accused of being an Egyptian mercenary. You know, you got to be very careful.
Mm-hmm. It happens all the time.
So Harrow, yeah, it happened to me last week. What is Harrow's? Who's the actor that plays Harrow? What's his name?
Ethan Hawke.
Ethan Hawke. He's so good. Like, Ethan Hawke is so good in this.
Do you know how he got cast in this?
No.
I heard this story. So apparently, Oscar Isaac, I think this was maybe meant for Oscar Isaac, or at least he was their first pick. So he was cast already. Ethan Hawke had been working with the director of Moon Knight on some other project. The director told Ethan, he's like, "Hey man, I've got like some conflicts, so I can't do that project now. Sorry, would have been great to work on that with you." And then Oscar Isaac is getting coffee in New York during the pandemic, so he's got his mask on, he's outside of this coffee shop waiting for his coffee. Ethan Hawke is also there with a mask on, and I guess Oscar recognizes Ethan, but not vice versa. And Oscar's like, "Hey man, loved you in some show or some movie or something." And then Ethan's like, "Oh, it's Oscar Isaac," and that is where Oscar pitched him on the show. And said, "Hey, you'd be great for this part." And
no way.
So then it turns out that Ethan Hawke is working with the director whose project got scrapped because of this show.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. It's kismet. It all worked out. It's awesome. Yep. My favorite part of this episode is when Harrow is talking to Steven, and he's like out of the car now. He's like, Harrow's being real nice to him. And then Khonshu is behind Harrow, and he's like, "Kill him." He's
break his windpipe.
Crush his windpipe. You know? It's like, right. It's like Khonshu's like, yeah, it's very real about the whole.
Yeah, you said that you said Khonshu's relationship with Marc and Steven's a little antagonistic. Apparently, it was the same way with his former avatar.
Yes, I like it. I'm digging it. It's like more complicated. It's like he doesn't have to be like this hero, keep this hero thing over and over again. I like the fact that Khonshu is like a complicated thing, whatever he is, and that like Marc Spector and Stephen Grant all are having some issues with him. And if this is going to relate closer to the comics, at some point the Marc Spector, Stephen Grant characters are going to have to figure out a way to. They're going to try to get rid of him or be away from him. So it's going to be interesting to see how this goes. It's not going to be the typical thing where like Khonshu stays with Marc Spector and Stephen Grant and they all work together to fight crime. It's going to be more complicated than that. So, and that's what's driving the show forward. I like the fact that the Harrow character was a former avatar of Khonshu. That's not accurate in the comics.
Okay, I was going to ask you about that. So,
yeah. I'm enjoying.
Were there any former avatars, or in the comics is it just Marc Spector?
Yes, there have been former avatars, 100%. Okay. Mm-hmm. So Marc Spector.
Anybody we would know, or
no, not really. And that's kind of what's it called? Like I forget what it's called, but it's new. It's something new that they introduced later in the comics. It wasn't initially like that.
Okay. Yeah, so in this one, we learned that Harrow used to be Khonshu's avatar before he became Amit's avatar.
Yep.
Which is interesting.
Yep. I'm trying to figure out about Harrow. I'm pretty sure he was an avatar. I have to get back to you on that. But from what I read, he was a very big throwaway character that you just threw in there. And they used him pretty well, which I like.
Who is that you're talking about?
Harrow.
Okay.
So yeah, and then like it's revealed. So you get a lot of cool plot points that I like. The scarab is going to be used so that Harrow can find the goddess. What's her name? Amet.
Yeah.
And so if Harrow finds Amet, then Amet's probably going to spread her form of justice throughout the world,
right.
Which is it's an interesting form of justice. It's like guilty before proven innocent. So like. The predetermination aspect, sort of like Catholicism, but not nearly as evil. Or
what was that Tom Cruise movie that was like this?
I don't know.
You don't know?
Tom Cruise enters the chat. I don't know what the wait. What was the movie about?
It was about precognition of crimes.
Oh, Minority Report.
Yes, that.
Yeah, it's a fantastic movie that everybody should have watched 1,000 times already.
Right.
Do you know, Mike? Do you know that this is something that our police forces in America have tried or are trying to currently do right now?
Not surprised.
It's there's computer algorithms that will take the data of a city and say, according to this data, this group of people that live in this area have the highest chances of committing a crime, and they can even make it to the point where this person has a high chance of committing a crime. And it won't surprise you that those people are probably black and brown,
right?
And
because
poor.
It's using all of the biases built into the AI and all of the biases inherent in the data that the AI is using to learn things.
There's even a thing I just read the Washington Post where it's like police officers want to focus on geographic areas. Like this place here has the most crime or has the most people that commit crimes. Let's put most of our resources here. It's like, I don't understand how many warnings do we have to give? How many times do police officers have to abuse their power? How many times do we have to make shows like Moon Knight where we can say we shouldn't punish people before they do crimes? You can't punish people for their thoughts. It's just
That's what's interesting. Stephen Grant is talking with Arthur Howard, and he's like, "Hey, isn't Amet's way of doing this kind of problematic? I'm not so sure about this guy." So it's nice to see that Stephen has his head on right about that.
Yeah, and I like Stephen is getting more and more into the story as far as like he knows that he's in trouble. That he's like stuck in this, but he's getting more and more into the idea that he's going to have to barrel through it, which we'll see in a second.
This is like it's a very tantalizing idea, right? Arthur Harrow's like, hey, without with Amit, we never would have had a Hitler. there never would have been a Stalin or whoever.
There could never be a Jarvis. There might never be a Mike.
That's
you know,
that's right.
and it also eliminates the idea of forgiveness, the idea of being able to change yourself, being able to be something different. I mean, that's a core belief, I believe, of a good faith, is like the idea that, hey, if you want it, you can become something more than what you are, you know. And Ahmet believes, nah, if you're born, you're either gonna be good or you're gonna be bad. Doesn't matter. So it's interesting. It's an interesting way to look at it. And we do see that Ahmet's got some powers. She's able to summon like weird wolves or something.
Yeah, the
like
jackal.
We've seen before.
The jackal.
Yeah, and it's interesting too because it's invisible, which we'll get to, I think. But it's like, so at first, like, I think everybody, when the jackal shows back up, we think that's not real. It's an illusion. It's all in his head. But then the jackal actually starts messing with the physical world, right? And like we're like, okay, it is a jackal, but it is alive. It is real. And even Oscar Isaac and Stephen Grant's like costume, his suit, like Layla sees it. Like Layla physically sees the suit. So
Right.
the suit is actually a real thing that manifests. So a lot of it's being answered right now.
Yeah, it's interesting. Only Marc and Steven can see the jackal. No one else can. Didn't show up on the cameras in the museum. Layla can't see it. All of
but
the
she
people
can get hurt by it because it picked her up. Yeah, stuff like that.
And
so,
she can throw like a drink onto the creature and then see like these, rivulets of liquid running down it.
Yeah, it was really cool. Really cool stuff. Yeah. Hopefully we don't have to see much more of that. I mean, I think the show's idea trying to manipulate if it's real or not, if what's happening is real or not, I think that kind of stuff is going to go away. I think now they're going to really start doing more interesting things besides.
Yeah, I think that scene kind of puts all that to rest, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
What do you think of the Mr. Knight suit? What a cool reveal.
I mean, I thought the whole sequence was kind of cool. Where here's my read on how that played out as someone that has never read the comics. Is, Steven wants to become Moon Knight so that he can fight off the jackal and protect Layla.
And not give in to Marc.
And not give in to Marc. Right, exactly. Yeah, good point. And so he's like, I'm going to become Moon Knight. And he does it in a way that kind of messes up. And he becomes this weird version of Moon Knight who is Mr. Knight. He has this great like scene where he's like, putting up his fist to fight the jackal. So I thought it was neat from that perspective where it's a mistake. And it's kind of a weird version of Moon Knight. So I liked it from that perspective. I'm not sure how a typical comic book reader would react to that, though.
See, I think hardcore comic book readers, people who read the Ellis Moon Knight, will be disappointed because in the Ellis Moon Knight, the Mr. Knight outfit costume was Marc Spector still, but he was kind of like a different version of the hero. Like he wasn't trying to be a typical hero anymore. He was trying to be more pragmatic and realistic about what it means to do good in the world. And so like it was like, and this is something Ellis does a lot. Like Warren Ellis will take the comic book mythos and like say, okay, what if this really happened? What if this was in the real world? How would it look? And he would kind of like take it and flip it on the head. So it's like, it's not unusual for Warren Ellis to take someone like Moon Knight in a cape and cowl costume and then put him in a suit with a mask. And not only is it cool to flip it around, but also looks cool. But if you read the Warren Ellis comics, you're probably going to be disappointed because all you're going to do is see the costume. You're not going to see anything really of Ellis. At least not right now. Maybe later, but I don't think so.
Do you think we'll see Mr. Knight in future episodes?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that the Stephen Grant character will do this again because it's just kind of fun. I think, and it worked out well. I think too. And I'm not sure. So if you remember, Layla said that she helped him get the suit. So we don't know where the suit came from and how it really works. We do know that it gives Stephen Grant or Oscar Isaac superpowers. Like he's stronger than he normally would be, and he's tougher than he normally would be. But we don't know. We don't know how.
Stephen Grant
exactly.
was very strong as Mr. Knight.
Yeah,
he just couldn't fight
but
very
we don't
well.
know. Yeah, he's just It's like if one of us got the. I think you know what? If I had the suit, I think I could handle myself pretty good. I think I could. I think I'll be able to battle some invisible monsters.
Right.
But yeah, so yeah, we'll probably see. I can see a place where Stephen Grant and Marc Spector will exchange places and get the suits and be themselves in different aspects. I see a place where Stephen Grant will slowly become more and more capable as the Moon Knight avatar. We'll just have to wait to see.
Okay.
I thought the fight scene with the invisible wolf was kind of good. Like when he was fighting Layla, I really felt I was really worried about her situation. I was worried that she was going to get hurt. And you know, so I thought that was really, really good fight scene, pretty smart. And again, we got another fight scene that's not normal, not usual. It's completely different than before, which is still cool.
Right. Yeah, that's true. So in the first episode, we got fight scenes that were basically taking place when the camera was off, or you know that when we didn't see it, we just knew it happened. And in this one, it's a fight scene with something that isn't visible. So, yeah, it's pretty cool.
Very good stuff.
Pretty cool.
Did your wife appreciate this fight scene better?
Yes, definitely like this. She likes fight scenes you can see better than those you can't. But I thought both of them were pretty cool, actually.
I will say this right now: the Moon Knight costume, where it's the cape and the cowl costume, that doesn't look good. For some reason, the CGI, especially his cape, just isn't working, and I don't know what's going on. It's just the cape doesn't flow very well. It just kind of looks like special effects. It doesn't look good. And again, Disney has a bunch of money. I'm not sure why this cape doesn't look good when normally that capes look great.
I'll have to look at that closer. It didn't really stand out to me. Yeah,
it just kind of looks too shiny. It doesn't look like it's interacting with the physical world that well.
I think it is because doesn't it transform into like a moon shape at one point? So
well, that was cool. It's definitely CGI. It just doesn't look great.
Yeah.
But maybe I'm being too picky. I mean, if I saw this 20 years ago, I would be like, "Oh my goodness, this is amazing!"
Yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous for a TV show. Yeah.
But is it ridiculous for a TV show that you pay $8 a month to watch?
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I mean, just up until the biggest TV show, not that many years. I mean, I guess it's been quite a while ago. My memory's probably foggy, but think of like Sopranos used to be like the best you could possibly see of anything on TV. And anything with special effects on TV, like Star Trek or whatever, was, nowhere near the level of what you would see in a movie.
I think Star Trek did a pretty good job.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, but it's no Moon Knight.
Yeah. Okay, what's next? Let's see. So you say here, it's the interesting plot point that I missed. Harrow uses his staff to open a portal. I got that. But then, Harrow uses his staff to kill someone that wasn't judged.
Yeah. Really so there's a looks like a homeless man that has the scarab. He found it, picked it up, and he's giving it to Arthur Harrow. He's not like trying to take it or anything. He's like, "Hey, I can give you this." And Arthur Harrow takes it, and then without going through the whole Amit's judgment routine, he just kills the guy.
Kills him. Yeah, it really establishes that Harrow's not a good guy.
Yeah, Harrow is definitely a villain.
Yeah, 100%. And because I think you could easily be confused by it, because if Amet has a form of justice we don't agree with, that's one thing. But
even if you and I are on the same page, and it's I think the ethical point of view that Amit's version of justice isn't justice, because you can't kill people, punish people, much less kill them for something they haven't done yet. But even if you think that her version of justice is just, then and let's say you're Harrow and you've bought into it, you can't just kill somebody without going through her judgment ritual.
Yeah. So he's definitely it's definitely some shady stuff going on.
Yeah, it's like, so and maybe that isn't something that Ammit would be cool with. Yeah. Maybe if she were to judge Harrow now,
I'm really,
he'd get it. But yeah. So it's just like on top of her kind of flawed morality, he's even further down the dark path.
Yeah, and I'm super curious about how Harrow left the Khonshu avatar and then found another one. I'm really curious about how
that's got a better offer,
which we'll probably get. Yeah. So at the end, we get an interesting conversation between Stephen Grant and Marc Spector. And now Marc Spector is in the body, and now Stephen Grant's stuck in the glass. Right. This scene played in a good way because what happens here is we get the conversation between the two, and it's easy to think that, hey, at some point they're going to be normal again, right? Like at the end of this episode, at the end of the series, Stephen Grant will have his life back, and Marc Spector will have his life back, and they'll be fine. But no, it's not true. Like this guy has the social. He has a social identity disorder. It's an illness. Like he's not well mentally, and so there is not going to be a good place for him at the end of this. And so when he kind of loses it and starts smashing the glass, it's a sign that, hey, he's hurting in his head, like something's fractured, But with the social identity disorder, usually something happened or happens to you to make this happen to you. Like it's just something
like some traumatic event. Or
yes, so I'm curious to see what traumatic event happened to make him fracture. Because at one time he was with Layla and he was married, he had life, and now,
okay, so that's a question I was getting ready to ask. Do the comics, are they definitive about who the original person was?
Yeah, so the original person was definitely Marc Spector's original identity was Marc Spector at first, and then slowly he became disassociative, and slowly he got the Stephen Grant personality, but he also got another personality we haven't seen yet.
Okay,
I don't want to ruin it for our listeners.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's just it's not going to be a happy ending for Marc or Stephen or this person at all. So but I think this episode did a fantastic job giving us some like little places to hang on to for the next episode. I'm super excited for the next episode.
Yeah, like, I mean, next episode looks like it's going to be great. It looks like we're going to be in Egypt in the next episode.
Give me some of that.
Yeah,
and Egypt is not. Egypt isn't a place we see much. I don't see Egypt in the news feeds. I've never been to Egypt. Like we don't see it in the movies and stuff like that. And hopefully we'll get an Egypt that we don't get to see a lot. Like I don't want to see a brown, dusty Middle Eastern country.
People were already commenting on that. Is you've got an Egyptian director doing this, and the view of Egypt that we get after Marc opens the shutters to the window is not the typical like color graded, turned yellow or turned brown version of Egypt. We get Egypt with the 3 pyramids off in the distance, and the sky's a nice blue sky, just like we have here.
Yeah, and like just from talking to people, people think that you have the pyramids, and then it's like pristine and beautiful. It's like no, it's full of tourists, and it's like it's people trying to sell you things, it's people trying to get you on guides, and so it's gonna be. I'm really curious to see this form of Egypt and hopefully I want more of the God stuff. I want more of the mythos of it. I really want them. I want this to be a mummy type of show without mummies.
Yeah, and the whole reason he's there is he's trying to find. So it's kind of like one of those treasure finding movies. Marc Spector and Khonshu are trying to find Ammit before Arthur Harrow can get to her.
Mm-hmm.
But Arthur has the compass, so that's going to be tricky.
Yeah, be good. Man, those pyramids are so cool looking.
Yeah, I mean,
why don't we build more stuff like that?
Yeah, that'd be cool. What would we do with them?
Well, I mean, they're grave sites, right? They're supposed to be tombs, basically, right? So just make me a big tomb. Like I want a pyramid tomb, please. Please give me a. How big, sir? Oh, as big as the ones in Egypt. I want mine to be that big.
Right. Yeah. Gotta be something better you can do with pyramids than that. You know?
No. I want that. Thank you.
You know what would be great is just a pyramid that's like an apartment. You know? But it's a pyramid.
You know what would be great is like a pyramid that when you walk in, you can get universal health care.
Hey, that would be the greatest pyramid of all time, at least in America. Yeah.
Yeah. Lots of people would get that pyramid.
Right.
So Mike, is it? Are we missing anything? Or you feel good? How do you feel so far about the series?
I like it so far. I like it.
Me too. I have high hopes for this. I really do. They have to land it though. This is episode 2 of 6, so they really have to. I really want to see some more stuff about the gods and stuff, the Egyptian gods. I really want to see more about everything that I've seen so far. I've been really impressed with. I just want to keep seeing that level get higher and higher. I don't want to see a typical superhero fight type deal. I'm over that. I want to see this show do something a little bit different. So hopefully we'll see it.
The one thing that it seems like Marvel's had some trouble with is ending these series.
Yeah.
The pacing doesn't quite work out near the end of each of the series so far.
Yeah, and Marvel was going to dovetail into something else at the end of this, and so we just gotta wait. I mean, I haven't. We haven't seen any other
guesses about or predictions about what they're going to dovetail into, or are you not willing to share them with us at this point?
I have a prediction that this is going to dovetail into something about maybe Miss Marvel. Could be. It might have something to do with that. We'll have to just wait. I wouldn't be surprised if something about Miss Marvel kind of plays into this.
How does that happen?
Or
How does that happen?
I'm not sure. The way she gets her powers might work out that way.
Okay.
But I'm not sure. It's just, and to be honest with you, it could just be a clean, 6 episodes were done, kind of like Loki. But again, Loki kind of built us up to Loki built us up to the entire idea of the multiverse,
right?
And then look what we got with that.
Yeah,
so, I don't know. We have to just wait and see.
That was a pretty clean setup, though. It wasn't banging you over the head. Really, it was just an integral part of the story, and then later things get to expand on that. I would love to see that. I'm hoping. Moon Knight.
Yeah, I'm hoping we don't get any multiverse stuff with Moon Knight. I'm hoping they're trying to do something different with it.
Right.
We'll have to wait.
Do you have any news we can abuse?
I do.
Oh,
and you actually found some news we can abuse this week.
That's true. Well I was asking the question, but I knew the answer. I do that sometimes.
Actually, you found the news you can abuse, and I found the rumor boomers.
Right. Love those rumor boomers.
I know it's a fan. I've gotten tons and tons of emails from people saying they really appreciate the new section of our podcast. First news you can abuse: Morbius director doesn't deny this isn't his cut of the movie. Okay, Mike, have you seen the post-credit scenes of Morbius?
I have not. I haven't seen any of Morbius.
I will tell you what happens at the end of the post-credit scenes of Morbius. There is the guy that played Michael Keaton. He played the Vulture from Spider-Man Homecoming, correct?
Yeah.
Yes. He's in jail. A weird aura wraps around him, and he gets transported into a different universe. Then Morbius is kind of like hanging out, waiting for him to show up. And Michael Keaton's character in the Vulture super suit uniform flies up and says, "Hey, Morbius, we should team up." And I'm not making that up. That's pretty much how it happens.
Was he in the Vulture suit before the thing happened?
No. He was in jail in a jail outfit. So somehow he got transported into a different universe and then built a brand new Vulture suit,
right?
And then flew up to Morbius and hey, let's team up. That is the most ridiculous thing I have ever seen in my entire life, and it is proof positive that Sony has no idea what they're doing, and they need to sell all the rights to Spider-Man back to Marvel before they embarrass themselves.
No. The next news is a good version of what Sony could do.
Yeah, that's true. But then, Mike, okay, so
I hope the horrible reviews of Morbius make Sony okay, we can't really do this, but we can. We can keep retreading Spider-Man. We did a fairly good job with that early on.
Yeah, Sony keeps doing stuff like this. It's they did it in Spider-Man No Way Home, which was an amazing movie, and they put Venom in it. Just because Sony's if you want Spider-Man, you have to put Venom in it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here's Venom. And no one wants Venom,
right?
Period. And the people who do like the Venom movies, I'm sorry, you're wrong. You're just wrong. And the idea that we'll get some team up or some kind of story thing with that is not going to work. And then we get this stupid Morbius thing. They're making Kraven the Hunter for who knows why. And it's
shut it down.
Disney, they won't shut it down because Disney's if we make some money, if we make money off of it, who cares? Who cares? We'll keep doing this up, It's this, and the success of Spider-Man No Way Home is going to make it even worse. This is, I don't know. Mike, you handle this.
But here's what they could do.
Okay, go for it.
Is Sam Raimi, the director of the first 3 Sony Spider-Man movies with Tobey Maguire? He thinks Spider-Man 4 with Tobey and Kirsten Dunst is a possibility.
If they can get Tobey Maguire and Kirsten Dunst to sign on, they will make this movie. It won't happen.
How awesome would that be? The Tobey Maguire Spider-Man from No Way Home, an elder Spider-Man with a mature relationship with MJ.
How old is Tobey Maguire?
I don't know.
He's in his 30s, right?
I have no idea.
That's not really elder.
I'm elder.
No. If they did this,
compared to, he's an elder compared to Peter Parker in high school.
Yeah, if they make Spider-Man 4, he would represent the Spider-Man that I grew up with. He would represent the Peter Parker that I grew up with.
Right. Where he's living on his own in an apartment with MJ.
He's married to MJ. There will probably be some kind of Spider Baby involved, which is canon, sort of. So there's a lot of cool things they could do. And I love Sam Raimi. Listen, I'm going to say this right now.
Tobey Maguire is 46, I believe.
Oh my God. Okay, well, he looks 30-something. He looks great. Yeah. But anyway, so listen.
That's what Spider-Man money will do for you.
Yeah. If Doctor Strange 2 is as good as we think it is, and it probably will be, Sam Raimi's stock as a superhero director will go way up.
Right.
Sony will be make Spider-Man 4. He'll throw as much money as he needs to Kristen Dunst and Tobey Maguire until they say yes. They will make this movie. We'll probably see it in a few years.
That would be a good use of Sony's Marvel license.
And everybody would go see it. We'd all would love it. It'd be amazing. Yeah. Blah, blah, blah. But, that would save Sony if they can do that. But Sony really needs a win. The Morbius cost them a lot of money, and they were banking on that movie to be good, so they could create their own little superhero movie thing. They've already greenlit Madam Spider stuff, which nobody cares about. So Sony needs a super strong win. Otherwise, their movies are just going to keep tanking and tanking. So putting all their eggs into the Spider-Man 4 basket is a smart place to put their eggs, because everybody loves Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3. Well, everybody loves Spider-Man 1 and 2. So we'll just have to see what happens.
What about those rumor boomers?
If you click on the link, you will see that Thor is fighting a weird monster. But you get a hint at some of the characters that's going to be. So this is a Lego set. and so it's like a rumor. So if you look, it's kind of like I don't want to say it's a spoiler, but you see Natalie Portman's Thor, and you see him. What's his name? Hemsworth, whatever, that Thor, and you see them fighting some Lego monster. Yeah, and you see them fighting a Lego monster, and we get another villain that we don't know who he is, and that's it. But it's kind of fun.
Do you have any idea who that Lego monster is?
No, but I think they're attacking Asgard.
Is that the Lego set is titled Attack on New Asgard.
So New Asgard is technically on Earth, and there's an attack on Earth. So, but Mike, I didn't get a chance to talk to you about this before. If you look at the Lego set, look to the right and look at Natalie Portman's Thor. Do you see the hammer?
Yeah, it's fractured and put back together again.
Yeah, so it looks like they took the hammer that was destroyed in Thor Ragnarok, and she put it together. So that looks kind of neat.
Yeah,
I'm ready. You know they're on a promotion tour, but they haven't shown the trailer yet. So they're out there in Australia or whatever, promoting this movie, but no one's seen the trailer. That's not a good sign, but we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, there's like some Japanese philosophy or style of that, where you have a broken piece of pottery, you instead of chucking it, you put it back together again, and sometimes they use like gold to put it back together again, so the cracks are highlighted. The same way that we see Mjolnir broken and put back together again, and all the cracks are highlighted with like blue powers. Yeah.
And like you can picture a scene where she's using the hammer and those cracks will light up, and like pulse out like that. It's going to be
maybe
cool.
Get brighter while she's swinging it or when she hits something.
Yeah. I'm into it. Last rumor is that in the new Black Panther movie, Black Panther Wakanda Forever, we don't know anything about this movie, but there's a rumor that Namor, the Submariner, will appear in the movie.
Who is Namor the Submariner?
Oh, Mike. Okay. All right. So in Marvel Comics,
you weren't prepared for this. You just assumed I knew who Namor the Submariner was.
I was hoping that you would know. That you would know. In Marvel Comics, there's an Atlantis, and yet people live underwater. And at one point, the Queen of Atlantis fell in love with a land guy, like a guy on land. They had a little baby, and it was Namor, and he's a mutant. So he's able to live underwater and on land, and he's able to fly. No one really knows why he's able to fly, but he can fly. And he's super strong. In the comics, Namor is the Prince of Atlantis. He's basically the ruler of Atlantis. And he has a war with Wakanda and Lavidia, where Dr. Doom rules. So that's called. I think they have something called a three-way war, where the three kings were fighting amongst themselves, and Wakanda and Atlantis had real beef with each other for a while. It was like there was some real beef. I think at that one point, I think Atlanteans were accused of war crimes against Wakandans, but it turns out that Dr. Doom faked it to cause the war between the two of them.
Interesting.
So it's really interesting. Yeah, it's a lot of interesting, really, really good storytelling that fans of Black Panther really want it to go that way. They really want to see Namor. They really want to see Dr. Doom.
Speaking of Dr. Doom.
Yeah, I know there's been rumors that Dr. Doom was in the first episode of Moon Knight. That's not been confirmed. And we just saw a castle. We don't know who's there. So
yeah, people were thinking that castle in the German city is Dr. Doom's castle.
There's absolutely no proof of that. Did you see a big L on it? Did you see a Doombot? Did you see anybody with Dr. Doom? No, it's like you see a castle and you think it's Dr. Doom's castle. That's just
one of the boxes behind Steven when he was driving the cupcake van. One of the boxes had Von D printed on the box.
I mean, okay, so yeah, I mean, maybe I doubt it. I'm not. I remember, like, this podcast does not deal with theory crafting. We do not do that.
That's a really good red herring, though. If I mean, putting that on a box in the cupcake truck is a really good red herring. If that's not a hint that Doctor Doom is somewhere about, or Von Doom is somewhere about.
I won't believe that Doctor Doom is in Moon Knight or is a part of Marvel's storytelling element moving forward until I see Dr. Victor Von Doom show up. When that happens, then yeah, but not until.
Okay. So what I learned about Namor is that he's kind of like the Little Mermaid, but he can fly.
No. Oh my god, dude! Like that makes me scared. Like, I mean, like just thinking that you just call Namor the Little Mermaid, like that dude's scary. Like Namor's not somebody you joke around with. He could go toe to toe with the Hulk, like without any problem.
The Hulk,
yeah, dude. Yes, the Namor could fight the Hulk to a standstill, and that is the truth. Namor is a bad dude. Like you do not want to be making fun of him at all. Period.
All right, so a little bit less like the Little Mermaid.
Yeah, way less. Like, let's tone that rhetoric down. Like, I don't want him to be having beef with that.
That'd be a good insult for the Hulk to use.
Yeah, it would be. Then, like, Namor would break his jaw. Like seriously, like, just Google Hulk versus Namor, and you will see like the coolest fight scenes you've ever seen. They've been beefing for a while.
Okay, cool.
People don't have any respect for Namor. They need to bring him up. They need to bring that guy up. Anyway,
Jarvis, I got a question for you.
Shoot.
If you wanted to tell somebody about this podcast, how would you do it?
I would walk up to them and say, "Hey, listen to my podcast," and then I would give them my phone, and then I'd walk away.
That's an expensive way to do it.
I would send them a link to the podcast. You can send links through. Like if you listen to this right now, you can hit the share button. Well, first, hit the subscribe button if you're a new listener, so you can get the episodes on your phone.
It's a good point. It's a good point.
Or if you watch this, so if you listen to this on YouTube, hit the
smash that subscribe button.
Smash it till your finger breaks. But also, you can hit share and then share it with your friends. And if you can share it to 3 people, if everybody's listening to this shares it with 3 people, that would be very helpful because Mike and I are trying to quit our jobs.
We would appreciate that immensely.
If we quit our jobs, would we do more podcasting? Or we would
I think we'd have to, right? No, we do more.
I would have to buy a big rig and stuff like that.
Yeah. We could put some sound isolation stuff in our rooms. It'd be great.
Oh, yeah. Okay. That's something to hope for.
Yeah,
like that foam stuff. That
like
little crates,
like the foam stuff.
It's called egg crates.
They put it up. They put it up in designs, behind the camera. Yeah.
Maybe I'll start streaming. I'll start streaming my video games.
Yeah, there we go.
And podcasts. Yeah, and other.
There's all kinds of things.
I can start being an influencer.
Right.
That might work. All right. Well, hey guys, I will see you guys next week. Mike will see you next week. We will see you next week for the next episode of Moon Knight. Moon Knight comes out on Wednesdays. Our podcast comes out on Thursdays. Check it out. Listen to us. I hope we help you understand the episodes. I hope we help you dig into it some more.